Beep, 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 beep. Hello, peeps. Welcome to the Court of the EDI Jester. Become more a teacher, buy me coffee. Usual stuff, right? I've come across something rather interesting from down under. So we're back in Australia. Hello, Australia. How you doing, folks? Keep fighting. I know it's difficult. And it's a very interesting thread. So I thought it's worthwhile sharing it with you. It comes from somebody called Kelly James under the Twitter handle at Kelly James AUS. Also, Kelly James Oz in Australia. So links. Yep, as usual in the Dubris. So what we got here is a story, a detrans story, which we will hear more about as more detransitioners come forward. It's very important that we allow their stories to be heard and heard clearly because they have much to teach us about what has been happening. So I would say that along with Chloe Cole, Richie Herons, and the others who are beginning to speak up and make quite clear exactly what this industry is about, this is another story to add to those we already have in the growing number of, sadly, but growing number of detransitioners. This is an Australian detrans history, and it starts or begins in 2004 in Melbourne, in Australia. The Melbourne-based Gender Identity Awareness Association, the GIAA, founded Gender Menders, a support group for people with gender identity issues. And then Kelly has provided us with an archived copy of their website, which is available for you to have a look at if you'd like to. The website contains a detailed outline of their concerns regarding inadequate clinical assessment and treatment for gender identity issues, including criticism of the Monash Medical Centre Gender Dysphoria Clinic, whose director viewed transsexualism as a biological condition. A spokesperson for the Gender Mender group was Alan Finch, who shared his story of sex reassignment surgery regret on the ABC TV programme Australian Story in September 2003. And this was, Alan Finch's story was called Boy Interrupted, a play there on Girl Interrupted, which I think was the name of a film about a mental illness. Yes. Finch initiated legal action against the clinic in 2004. And won the right to sue in 2005 after the court dismissed an appeal. He was ultimately awarded a confidential settlement. And again, links are provided in the article for you to explore further. In 2006 and 2004, the state government reviewed the clinic. These reviews were conducted. And they found that most patients had been prescribed hormones almost immediately, and in some cases were referred to a plastic surgeon before being sent for psychiatric assessment. You know, folks, if there's ever a time when I doubt, and I do, this last few days I've doubted myself and everything else, all right? Everything. About why I bother, everything. You have moments like that, don't you, occasionally? It's passing. Why are we, this is what I can't understand. Why are we seeing the same pattern everywhere? Why are we seeing it? Are we saying that people in Australia and New Zealand and Canada and Australia and UK and we've all got together, somebody all got together and went, right, we're going to do it this way? Where's it come from? Right? Where's it come from and how did it get where it is? When you look then and start to understand where it came from, it begins to get a bit hair-raising. But actually, if there's that much, so Australia's had the same problems we have, we've had it. John Hopkins knew in the 70s this was a problem, right? So you go back to America, Canada, New Zealand, Britain, France, Germany, Sweden, Norway, all of the European countries, all of the Western world, really, although this is being spread in India by Stonewall, all of the Western world have all, at some point, taken on board something that they were given. It is not possible for this to have appeared spontaneously in each of those countries because it's so similar. WPATH. Right, John Money. Here we go. Okay? John Money, Kinsey, De Chegley, SPAC, Susie Green. Onwards then to Stonewall, Tenney. The various organisations in Australia and New Zealand pushing this nonsense. But here we have a detransitioner story of a court case that happened in 2006. That's 18 years ago, isn't it? 17, 18 years ago. This is not new in terms of people saying, excuse me, there's something not right here, but yet here we are still doing it in 2023. Why are we still doing it? We need a moratorium. We need to stop it completely. That's the only thing that can come out of this. This is not... So people say to me, you're a conspiracist. Well, if I'm such a conspiracist, how has this erupted spontaneously everywhere, but yet displays the same problems and flawed behaviours as we've seen in every other instance? Is there a template somewhere that's wrong? Well, the answer to that, of course, is yes. And then you as an individual must be forced to ask yourself the question, who has the template? Likewise, those of you that are feeling silenced and can't say anything or can't, open your voice, open your mouth and speak about this, you have to ask yourself the question, if that's the fact, if I can't open my mouth and speak about this clearly, who has the power? Don't look at me. I ain't got none. Who has? It took then, the GIAA, which was the name of the clinic, made a submission to the Senate Select Committee on Mental Health in 2006, outlining many of the same concerns around assessment and informed consent that continue today. And there's a copy of the original PDF. This is from 2006. In 2009, the clinic was temporarily shut down for an internal review following litigation by 3 former patients. This is like a snapshot of where we're going now. It just needs to be bigger. It's a snapshot from Australia of what's going on, and it needs to be bigger. The clinic director was also removed. Oh, were they? And what happened to them, I wonder? It was reported in the Sunday Age that at least 8 former patients believed they were misdiagnosed. Tip iceberg, I say. 8. And there's another article available to you there to explore from the Sydney Morning Herald. The Monash Clinic reopened with a new director in July 2009. Representatives of the trans community welcomed the reopening, saying that fundamentalist Christians and the religious right had tried to force the clinic's closure. It's the same. They're using the same rulebook. Denton's, WPATH. It's not hard. Right? What I can't understand is if we get it, right, and we're not nuts, I've checked many times, right? All Sunak has to do is look at it. All that, Ed Balls has to do is look. Is it Ed Balls? Who's one of the Liberals? No, he's got no balls. What's his name? Slappy McSlapface, twat, right? Or Queer Harmer. Look. You only have to have eyes to see. And then we can stop it all. All of it. Every last stinking bit. So, they said it was the Christian right. Usual rhetoric, yeah? We all know this. The fate of gender menders beyond this time is unclear. In this news report, Finch's story now appears under a pseudonym. A female detransitioner is also interviewed, as is her husband, a co-founder of GIAA. The Gender Menders website went offline in 2012. It's just a little bit of history repeating. No, that was old Licorice All Sorts. Not Licorice All Sorts, Shirley Bassett's. Yep, Shirley Bassett Hound. Finch said in an interview, "I'm against the fact that people are proselytised into this by others. I believe people are not being adequately assessed. And what I'm questioning is whether the process, medical transition, is the right thing. The only thing." And then there's a postscript to this. In 2016, the Victoria State Government gave Monash Health $6.4 million to expand services at the new version of the gender clinic in response to a surge in demand. First part of this story tells us we have a problem. First part of this story tells us that the medical evidence is flawed. It tells us the science is flawed. It tells us you don't have to be Superman to recognise that this is all a damn lie. And then the last part of it tells us it doesn't matter. The Victoria State Government still gave them $6.4 million. Wakey, good people of the Twitteroids and YouTubers, you lot. Anyway, thanks to those of you that have supported me. If you can keep doing so, that'd be great. YouTube are gunning for my guts. So if this disappears, it disappears. There'll be some of it elsewhere. I don't know where. I don't know what I'm going to do if it disappears, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so great, good, keep going, do the do, Betty Boo.